Well, it's around that time right here on KAZ Radio where we have those three crazy guys, none other than We've Got Issues with Don, Mike, and Duran. Take it away, guys.
All right, everybody, welcome to
We've Got Issues.
And you know we do. Before we get started, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And also remember you can call in at 216-298-1554. Before we get started, let's get the show started like we normally do in prayer. All right. Heavenly Father, thank you for today. Again, we always ask, complete the work that you've begun in each of us. Let us see as you see and do as you say. Amen.
Amen.
All right, man. I was welcome to the show. I want to ask you guys before we get started, Mike, how was? Mike's got that hat on. We're going to come back to Mike because he's a mad hatter right now. Yeah, I said, you're so
got
vain.
comfortable with that.
You're so vain. You probably think this show is about you.
You got to get it right, man.
But we'll get it started. So we're going to start with the other D over here. You know I love the letter D. D, how was your week, man? And what's your issue for this week? Did you have a good week?
My week was pretty well. Just, here and there. My issue for this week is these athletes in college. I think they should just think about starting to pay the athletes in college because if you remember a while back, we had the Fab Five. They were looking at their own uniforms and everything. People were wearing their little swag uniforms, the outfits and everything, and they were profiting from them. These stores and was profiting from the uniforms, but they wasn't getting paid, and there was a few little scandals came out, after that. So, athletes they play hard, they get hurt in school, and just going back just to think about Ohio State, I remember Joey Bosa. Now I could kind of see where he had that head-on-head collision with someone and got out of the game right after the one gentleman got hurt really bad in that game, and that's a lot of money to.
So we're going to come back to that. So your issue is
whether or not they should get paid.
They should be
compensated. Whether they should get. I think they should be compensated.
That's a deep issue. We're going to actually explore that in a little bit more depth as we go on in the show. That's a great issue. And with all of us three writing the show, you just really let the cat out of the bag, and I really enjoy that because now there's Captain anyway. Mike, what's your issue?
I got a couple of issues. I guess my first issue is. And this happens mostly in the African American community.
Okay.
But why do we have a problem with living together?
Wow.
And specifically like grown men having roommates, grown women having roommates. Save some money, stack your chips. You
mean like living single?
Right, exactly.
Girlfriends?
Like living single, exactly.
Okay, I understand.
And a lot of it is, they say women don't get along, or the only time we live together is if we are cohabitating as a couple, But it's not just like friends getting together. And
so you could have. So that's a good point, man. Because I'll tell you, there's not a guy I know that wouldn't like Three's company. You know what I mean? Like to be like Jack. I'm just saying anyway. Is that the kind of cohabitate? We'll come back to that. Three's company.
That's a different topic.
I took it too far.
A little bit too far.
Do it come from generation gaps? I mean, just say if you stand in the same household and. I can't stand the way you do this and that because of the generation gap, or is it just getting along? Period.
Right.
I think we could explore that topic, but
no doubt.
I hear a lot of people saying he's 21, he need to get out the house.
Yeah.
You're talking about your kids.
Hey, John Boy was 37. John Boy was 37 on the ones. I did my own research. It was Richard. I forget his last name, but he was 37. Yeah. It was like, good night, John. But I was like, they should have been like. Get out.
But if you think of other nationalities.
Oh yeah.
Man, they have 10, 15 deep in the house and living as family, and they have
8
grown kids. They got kids and they living together, but they each paying $50 a month.
Right. They saving a lot of money.
Saving a lot of money.
Yeah. That's a great point, though, Mike. That's a great issue.
And then my other issue, would be, the NBA started Tuesday, so. I want to throw out there, what's the best team you can think of, over the years in the NBA? And on top of that, what's your top 5 players historically?
Wow, we're gonna have to cut. That's so. Now you let another cat out of the bag. These issues are like a show within themselves. That's what I love about you guys. You guys are excellent. I mean, my issue is racism rearing its ugly head. I don't want to say. I watched that story in St. Louis with the one brother that was going in the apartment. I think what they call her apartment Patty, and the brother lived there. And she was like taking her dog out, and was ready to call the police on him and everything. And he lived there. And I just keep. Then we did a show a couple of weeks ago. In addition to that, where the cop went to the wrong apartment and shot the brother. Then there's so many different things that. And I was looking at another one. It was called Golf Cart Gail. They call her. She rode up on some black golfers and was like, "Hey, you know what I mean? What's going on?" Called the cops on them. And then we got what's the other? Let me take my glasses off for this one because I thought this was funny. Corner Store, Carolina. Corner Store, Carolina. A little young kid was going into the store with his mom, had a book bag, right? And he said, "Excuse me," so his book bag brushed up against her butt. And she just went off. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that too.
So I mean, what's going on? I got issues with these. Yes, and now we have this footage right now. This is the apartment Patty. And the brother lives there. Now, this is a very affluent place, a nice place down in St. Louis, but it's interesting. That's my issue in terms of they're calling the police the police on for what stuff that we do every day.
And it's funny that you brought that topic up
issue.
Because there was another one today.
Wow, I'm not surprised. Yeah,
and I'm not sure where it was, but wherever it was a group of adults with their kids, and they were protesting.
Oh, that was at the gas station. That was at Stop the Violence. Yeah, that's what I have over here too.
After walking, protesting, they went into the store, and the manager called the police. Said there was just too many black folks in the store. They got to leave.
You see the pickup truck. There was a lady with the pickup truck,
the
and
police never came.
Yeah, they never came.
Yeah.
And I mean, and the guy had it completely documented, and it's just amazing to me that you take 2 or 3 steps forward and 1 step back.
Right.
And at the end of the day, let's keep it real. There's 370 million people in the United States. 36 million of them are black. We should be more afraid of you guys than you should be of us, just based on the numbers.
And
just based on the numbers.
The numbers and the history.
Yeah, so
it's alarming. We still.
I got issues with that because and I will say this. And I was telling one of my a friend of mine earlier today. Do you guys think that if that guy had a shirt and tie on, would he have treated them differently? Does perception and the way you dress, what do you think that outcome would have been? It might not have ever happened. Just if he was dressed a certain way. No. We don't know, but I will say this, it couldn't hurt. Pull your pants up. These guys showing us your underwear. Take the hoodies off.
I would say you're probably right with that, but
it shouldn't come to that anyway.
Well, no, but it's been so many instances where they were dressed appropriately.
Yeah.
And they still wound up getting thrown on the ground by the police. Yeah. Getting the police called on them.
Oh, no doubt.
And it's story after story after story where.
Oh man.
But they just want to. I don't even know why they would do it.
Yeah. I don't understand.
This kid had a backpack like he was coming from school.
Yeah.
Was it dark? I mean,
no, it was in the store.
It was in the store.
Daytime or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a crowded, like a little corner store. Got the shelves and everything. You get trying to walk past someone.
And
his book bag, which he had his backpack on, brushed up against her. And she thought he had touched her butt.
Yeah, there's been 9 of them going viral in the last 3 to 4 weeks. It's like one every other day. Yeah. So I got issues with that because, let's keep it real, man. I mean,
but what you
doesn't make any sense.
What you said makes a lot of sense. I mean, if they was dressed appropriately, because I'm gonna tell you something. Like, it's dark right now. Mm-hmm. If I see a few brothers coming around, they got hoods on and everything, and they're behind me, I'm gonna think a different. I'm not gonna just say. You have to be aware of your surroundings.
So let me ask you this then. Are you going to think of if you see 4 white guys with hoodies coming at you, are you going to think the same way? Or is it just a color thing?
I think it's the perception of the color thing. I think it really is. But I would think a little differently because I've never been in a situation.
Well, it depends where you were. You would say that too. Now, you're in a stick somewhere. You know, it's like
if I was out in the sticks,
no phone service, and they come at you, then that's a
would
different animal.
Yeah, I would be
I would
looking the
say.
same way at them
Yeah,
as I
yeah.
would the.
Yeah.
And that's funny though. That's you know, even we as black folks get apprehensive sometimes when you know, we're on the street and you see some guys walking together. Sometimes we can get apprehensive as well.
I agree.
And we don't get that same apprehension if we see, you know, the opposite race doing it.
Right.
You know, and they look in the same way.
So that's another issue that could go for a whole show as well. I have one word. Pastor, if you could pull this up for me, please. It's Sears, y'all. Sears is gone. I loved Sears. You remember Sears and Roebuck?
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
loved Sears. Sears, for those of you millennials out there who may be listening, call in 216-298-1554. We've got issues. Sears revolutionized retail. You could go into Sears and rent a car at budget, right? You can get dental done. Sears was really the first Walmart, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I miss Sears, man. Sears was really, to me, out of all the department stores growing up, Sears to me, I'm sad to see them go. So that was my other minor issue.
Right.
I'm sure you guys went to Sears.
Sears was
growing
like
up.
a Walmart on steroids.
Yeah, man, Sears
had everything.
Yeah. You see right on the show the original Everything store was filed for bankruptcy, and I love Sears, guys. You guys grew up going to Sears, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I went to Sears.
I'm not saying it was a great place, but hey, man,
I went to Sears, but I ain't gonna miss them.
I'm
I'm not gonna miss them.
No, put it this way, man. Let me tell you something, man. I'm not that I'm going to miss them, but Sears was an anchor store in every mall. Think about it. Randall Park Mall has had a Sears on that one end. Every mall you go to had an anchor on that mall.
Yeah.
And Sears was, I'm going to tell you something. The first time that I got a Visa card, I got a Sears card first, and you could use your Sears card and get a Visa. That's how big Sears was back in the day.
I had a Sears card also.
And,
Yeah,
So
I had a Sears card.
Okay, stop playing. You can say you miss Sears.
Yeah,
See?
no, I don't miss that 21% interest rate they charge. So.
Of course you don't miss that. But I mean, Sears was like, go ahead, I'm sorry.
The funny thing about that, though, I had a Sears card. I paid my last payment because it's like a credit card.
Right.
And they start going out of business. All the Sears around here.
How long did it take you to pay it off?
It took me a year, maybe a few years.
Okay.
I mean, but I was paying it.
But
faithfully.
again, so Sears is, they went out of business, I get it, but I'm just saying, so we supported, it was an anchor Sears right on, what is that, 83rd and Carnegie?
Yeah, they were raping the community for years.
Oh, here you go. So what was, listen, man, don't get me started on Uncle Bill's and Zaire's and Gaylord's. Sears went out of business. Give Sears their due, man. Sears got a lot of our money. But
Exactly.
Hey, listen, I still got Craftsman's tools, Sears, and they still work. Thank you, Sears.
I got a
Okay, Sears had some. I had Kelvinator refrigerators. I had Maytag washers. I had Sears. Don't get me started on Sears. Was cool to me, man. And I know most of you out there, if it wasn't, you know it was. Hey, man, I first car I rented was from Budget Rent-A-Car right from Sears at Randall Park Mall. So all I'm saying is I'm gonna miss Sears, and that was a minor issue. I have no issue with Sears. Anyway, okay, so let's move on. I see that. So anyway.
So this pay the man, college athletes.
Yeah, talk to me about that pay the man. So
So-
explain that.
First of all, if we keep it real, if we keep it 100,
Okay.
college athletes are getting paid.
Oh, wait a minute, hold on.
they are.
Say that again.
They are getting paid.
All right.
When you leave the game and
They're getting paid.
and an alumni or a
Okay.
booster puts
You
an
going
envelope in your
first
hand
take,
with thousands
first
of
take,
dollars.
Our second take, your third take. They're
with
getting paid.
with thousands of dollars. I mean, I went to college and nobody handed me an envelope. No one.
Hey, okay, but
And they get this every week.
what do you? Okay, hold it.
A college
But they have
student with
jobs.
Okay, so keep going. So in other words, as Duran alluded to earlier in the show, he said that they should be getting paid. That's what you said. So you alluded to that.
Yes.
That was a little bit of your issue.
That's their craft.
Okay, now, Mike, go ahead.
Okay, so my craft when I was in college was learning how to be an engineer, learning how to teach, So why aren't they getting paid? I'm learning my craft. When you're playing football or playing basketball, you're honing your craft.
But how are they getting
And when
paid,
you
though?
go to the professional level, you get paid. Just like any other student who is learning their craft, they're not getting paid to learn their craft. They're
if
paying.
you have-
Okay,
they're
okay.
paying
All
to
right.
get it.
Okay, so hold it. Would you say, Durant, before I pass it to you, I just want to say this. Here's an example. Florida A&M University played at Ohio State a few years ago. They got $1.1 million to play that game. $1.1 million.
Okay.
Now, and then in Ohio State, they knew, hey, we're giving that $1.1 million, and we know y'all band is better than ours, so y'all band can't even perform.
Okay.
But FAMU still took that $1.1 million. Now, the players got none of it, maybe whatever, but the school
they
got it.
got
So,
some.
so my point is the
got
money's
some.
there.
It probably
but who
wasn't
were there
divided.
to see? The players. So, Durant, you say the players should get paid?
Yeah, I think the players should get paid because that's their craft. Like I was saying, and what he was saying is, but is anyone going to invest in you for
Pay the man. He's saying
engineering?
pay the man.
I mean,
That's
this is
never
what's
your
the thing.
issue. Pay the man.
There's
Well,
someone's going to invest in these athletes because they know down the road there's going to be a little gold at the end of that rainbow.
What would you call so Mike, what would you guys call a booster in the college game? What's a booster?
Usually it's alumni, people who support the school. That
How do they really support the
Right,
school? What do they
support
do?
the school.
they give money.
There you go. Ding, ding, ding. So hold it. So I did with some of that money. You said they get an envelope. So you're saying they're already
Absolutely.
getting paid?
Absolutely, they are.
Okay.
But my issue is, I mean, first of all, are you going to college to play football or are you going to get an education? So if you're getting an education, why isn't the argument for them dropping out of school to leave and go to the NBA or to go to the NFL? Why isn't the argument, why are you dropping out of school? You're there to get an education. It should be more of a concern for us that they're dropping out of school and not going to leave that school with a degree.
With a degree,
Because football, you know, the lifespan of football, the lifespan of basketball ain't that long.
The NFL stands for not
if
for
you
long.
go in at 21 and you out at 31, which is 10 years, which is a long career,
Yeah, it is.
what you going to do the rest of them 50 years?
Without that degree.
Without that degree.
Without the degree,
And the
yeah.
money's probably going to be gone too.
Right. Now,
But
what I
that's
did find out is that they do, even if they drop out, go to the NFL, they can go back and get their degree, and the school will still pay for them to get that degree. So, you know, kudos to the schools for still honoring their scholarships. And, you know, by the way, the school's going to profit anyway because you got the best player in the NFL or, you know, an NFL player or an NBA player that now says, I graduated from that school.
Okay, so what was you talked offline a little bit about stipend. What are you saying about the stipend? Is that what you meant?
Well, that's what I mean. When
Okay.
the boosters hand them envelopes of thousands of dollars or, you know, every week.
Okay, so here's
You know,
the thing.
So how many games they play?
Well, they play 10 or 12 games plus the playoffs.
So
right?
say you get $1,000 every game. That's $12,000
Okay.
for a college student.
Okay. Okay.
Is that enough payment when
So if they gave
when a
us-
few years you're going to sign a big contract?
So I said, but hold it. Wouldn't you agree with this? 99% of all the people that's playing college football right now, 1% is going to make it to the NFL. That's just sheer numbers.
That's
right?
true.
that's a pretty
That's
good,
the
pretty
and
big
I'm just going to say, I'm
That's
just
a good-
throwing it
that's a
out there.
that's a good
With that
number.
being said, if you are, to me, talent's going to stand out. I believe they all should get paid. There's no way that if Ohio State is playing, every time a team comes to Ohio State University, they're getting $1 million. Okay, they're getting $1 million. That's what in that early part of their schedule. Out of that $1.1 million that FAMU got, so all the players get $1,000, so that's $53,000, maybe $60,000. All the coaches get, everybody gets. You can do that when you get $1 million, that's it, and you lose 70-0 to Ohio State. They are getting paid, but the point I'm making is it really ain't enough.
So what's
It
enough?
ain't enough. I agree they should get
Well, what's enough?
whatever school is paying me the most. If I'm an athlete today, coming out of high school, I may sound a little black, whatever. Listen, man, if you're good enough you know you're not going to go to the pros, but you're still an excellent athlete, right?
Right.
And you're not going to go to, nothing against Cleveland State, you're going to go to Alabama. You're going to go to a big school, which is probably going to give you more money because they are a bigger school, right?
Yeah, I agree.
So you say pay the man. So what's your take? So are they getting paid enough with the envelopes? Is what I'm saying.
I think we they definitely are getting paid enough. I think that you're learning. You're learning how to hone your craft, just like anyone else who's in college.
Okay.
You're learning how to become an engineer. You're learning how to become an accountant. You're learning how whatever field you're, English major, whatever it is.
Okay,
you're-
engineering
you're
teacher,
hone-
yeah.
You're honing that craft.
Yeah,
Hey, caller, turn your phone down. Who is it?
yes. We have a caller.
Okay.
Welcome to We've Got Issues. Who's calling, please?
Daniel Bell.
Hey, Danny.
Danny
What's
Bell, how
hey?
you doing,
That's
sir?
Danny, one of our contributors to the show. Danny, how you doing?
I'm all right, sir. How y'all feeling?
Good. We're doing well. Thanks for
Turn your
calling the
phone
show.
down. Turn your,
So,
turn your phone down, Danny.
what's your issue?
Well, the issue I had, I was thinking about them college players, man. Because when I look at the point of them college players playing football in Ohio State and Michigan, everybody making money off this
Big money. I didn't even get to the bowl games yet.
They sell jerseys, they sell any kind of athletic gear. The college is making money.
Yep.
So therefore,
The coaches make more than governors. Come on, man.
They still, I think, should be paid. Because after all,
Yeah.
the college still making money off of them.
Yeah.
And every other sport, that they have at that university. It's not just
Exactly.
football.
So then, if that's the case, then why aren't the other students getting paid?
The other regular students that are actually
Yeah,
paying
the regular
tuition?
students that are paying tuition.
Because they haven't honed their craft enough to get a scholarship.
Neither have they. That's why they're in college.
They're in college because,
Then
okay.
go if you want to get paid, go play professional sports.
But 99% are not going to play professional sports.
Then they shouldn't get paid.
Well, guys,
So the offensive tackle that's blocking for that running back.
School still getting paid off the backs of the football players anyway.
Exactly.
Any other student ain't really getting paid off the backs of the backs of the
Teachers?
school.
Yeah.
Well, it
So
depends.
therefore, the school ain't earning no money off of the students.
People, hey, Danny.
But now the school is also going beyond tuition when they give them. So come on now, how much money you think Ohio State round all of Ohio?
That's what I said. Yeah, Danny. Let me ask you this. Yeah, do you think that when it comes to so how much should they get paid? Should it be a salary? Should it be if you're a quarterback you get $100,000 a year? If you, I don't. My point I'm making is they should definitely get paid. I mean, definitely.
So, I guess my issue.
Yeah.
Thanks for your
Thanks
call,
for
Danny.
thanks for the call, Danny.
I guess my thing
We
is
appreciate it. Thank you.
my thing is
All
this.
right, y'all have a good one.
Thanks for
Thanks,
that.
Dan.
It was too much to go with. Yeah.
So my thing is this.
Yes.
College athletics pay for a lot of things. They help open up new buildings. They get the educational curriculum together. They get the housing together. So it's not like that
But if
money.
if the
it's
school
not,
has
hold
the
on,
word
hold on,
state
no.
in it, it gets money from the state as well.
Granted, okay, but the point is that money is being used. Okay, and yes, they are profiting from those athletes.
Right.
But don't think that the athletes don't profit from them as well.
But do you
They
think-
are setting them up
Do you
to be
think-
successful in life going forward. So if they are good enough, they get a contract worth millions to play professional sports.
Do you
That's
think
what happens when you graduate.
Okay, but do you think that, let's put it this way, the success of a football team, Randy, you jump in right here. The success of a football team or a basketball team or wherever you choose to go to college, a lot of times is equated with that team, that football team. Yeah. Man, I want to go to Ohio State, they got a good team. Yeah. I want to go to Kent, they got a good team. Yeah. I want to go here, they got a good team.
So is your major.
So I'm just saying, the athletic program can actually garner more students and open it and increase your enrollment just based on that. What were you going to say?
That's why people pay $40,000 a year to go to Harvard.
Okay.
Right.
So,
You
go
know,
ahead.
because of the name of the institution.
Agree.
Just to reiterate the point you were making about
We're both
the
right there.
engineer-
We're both right.
Yeah, about the engineers and everything. I think more emphasis should be put on, like, if you're going to school for engineering or whatever, and they should get a piece of the pie also because it's
So college students then
College
Pay the man. Pay these
Should-
kids,
should be
man. Pay
paid.
these kids.
yes, because that's
Hey,
your
man, listen.
first earning. That's
Pay
your-
these kids, man. Pay these kids. I was honing my craft as an RA for 3 years. I deserve more money than that, man. I was hooping just as much as they were. Come on, man. Pay the man. Pay the man. Come
I
on,
think
now.
that there's plenty of time for them to make money. And during your college years, it should be focused on your education.
So are we only talking about the 1% that go to the NFL or the 99% that don't?
I'm talking about the
All of them?
100% that go to college.
They go to college.
Because
Yeah,
if you just pay the athletes,
right?
you know, and when you start paying them, are they gonna go to school?
All right, so just talking
getting
about,
paid.
hey, listen, man,
Why would you go to class?
And I think more emphasis should be put on the non-athletes.
what stance has the NCAA taking? I think they're sort of taking my stance, right or wrong. They're not paying these. The guy went to the Rose Bowl, not the Rose Bowl, the Aloha Bowl. A friend of mine, his son played several years ago, and they got PlayStations that just came out. The school got like $2.5 million. And they stayed over in Hawaii, and they got PlayStations, jerseys, and iPads. I mean, not iPads, but
and warm-ups and
walk-
socks and
right,
tennis shoes.
Right, came back here and he was
Come on
working at
now.
a car wash for the summer job. Y'all should have paid him. He scored
remember-
2 touchdowns, dude.
I
And he had to
remember
work at
back
the car
in
wash
the,
in the summer with that same warm-up suit you had on, that he had on, and all that other stuff, man.
But
Pay
I
the man.
remember back in the 70s.
Made $2.5 million for that school.
I remember back in the 70s watching the Orange Bowl, and I want to say it was Oklahoma against someone. And, you know, Oklahoma was famous for their wishbone offense.
Right.
And the quarterback who never made the NFL he was hurt, and he was wearing a full-length mink coat on the sidelines. Now, you telling me a kid from
That was some
from
American
the
gangster type
hood,
stuff. That was American
you know,
gangster.
I'm just saying, you know, a kid from the hood, where does he get the money to get that coat?
Oh, man.
If you ever saw the movie Blue Chip,
Oh, yeah. I saw it with Nick Nolte and Shaq.
they-
Yeah.
you know, the tractor show up in the front yard of the parents.
yeah.
So don't be fooled and thinking they not getting paid when they are.
But that's that elite 1%. I mean, you know, you really think about it.
So are you
I
just
think
gonna
they
pay
all
the
should get
elite?
paid. Listen, if put it this way. The Rose Bowl is the granddaddy of all the Rose Bowls. In addition to all the money that they make in other ways, that when you go to a bowl game, or you mean that's what they want, okay? Now the point I'm making is you get $8 million. Each school gets $8 million to go to the Rose Bowl, and just in the Big Ten there. Now out of that $8 million, how much did each player get? If they should get paid?
I don't know, because they're not paying them, right?
Well, you said they were paying them.
They are.
Okay, but
But I can't give you a number because it's under the
well, I'll
table.
tell you right now, it's not enough. It needs to be salary
It's under the
requirements.
table. We don't even know what they're getting paid now.
Right.
So how can you make that argument?
We know what the NCAA getting paid, all of it,
In my
because the
opinion,
college.
They're not getting all of it.
As far as we know, they ain't not getting anything. That's what we're
Let
talking
me
about.
ask
Pay
you
the
this:
man. The name of the
how
segment
many
is Pay the
college?
Man.
How many college students who were athletes,
Okay.
who went to Division I schools,
Okay.
and they came home for the summer, they was flossing. Come on
Okay,
now,
I
let's
gotta
talk
bring
about
that.
it.
You're right. Okay, give me
Let's
some
talk
love on that.
about
You're right
it.
about that. I knew. Yes.
So-
All of them.
So
all of them.
don't act
I'll
like
give
they
you
ain't
that.
getting paid now.
Yeah. Okay.
They may
okay.
not be getting paid what they will be worth.
So should it be okay? But these were great. Should it be something instructor for everybody to give? Listen, man. Put it this way: you can fill out grants and go to college, and maybe take out 1 or 2 student loans. So you're sort of essentially getting the money for free to go to school. So you're sort of getting
Well,
paid.
no, you got to pay those student
I'm
loans.
talking about
back.
grants. I'm just talking about grants. Okay, I'm just talking about grants.
Well, you said student
Oh,
loans.
okay. I said not student loans.
Okay,
But my point I'm making is, so that's a form of getting paid or whatever. All I'm saying is that you should get paid commensurate with what you make for the school if you are making money for the school at the time that you're in school.
So how do you figure
all I'm
that?
saying.
How do you figure that number
It
out?
makes sense. I mean, for
What
you-
algorithm do you use to figure that money out?
I don't know, maybe the envelope thing you mentioned is working. I don't know. I mean, they're giving them envelopes, shaking their hand like, here you go, bro, that's 10,000 right there. You don't even know. You pat you on the back, put it in your little suit jacket.
Right.
You know, I don't know what's going on.
It's definitely going on.
It's definitely going on.
And no one ever denies that's not going on.
Right. I don't.
So
you'll be real naive. Naive.
Right.
Not going on.
I'm just saying, if they would have paid me to go to college, I'd have partied more than I partied when I wasn't getting paid.
Right. So let's, before we go to the next issue, let's see how we end up on this. I'm saying pay the man, and I'm saying pay commensurate with. These guys are basically, don't get it twisted, man. Being a college athlete that's a full-time job in addition to studying. You have study time. You got all kind of stuff that is it's a year-round thing. You got to work out in the off season. It's a full-time job being a college athlete at any college. And so, yeah, they should get paid. Oh, you're going to yawn on that. Go ask any college athlete. They're going to be like, man, they're going to meet us downstairs.
Hey, I get it, man. Hey, I get it. You know, if you want to be that 1% that makes it to the next level, you got to work hard. If you want to be that accountant, if you want to be that engineering, it's a full-time job being a student.
So whatever they're getting under the table is enough. I agree with. I hear you.
I don't think they should get anything.
All right, what do you fall on that?
I think even though I would like for all the college students and athletes to get paid for what they do, I think it's too far-fetched to even think about. I don't think it will ever happen.
Okay.
Because it's all the arguments you have here and there.
I think that's what they want us to think, and that's, hey, if we talk about, I agree. I hear your point. So you're saying it's not going to happen, but you think it should happen.
It should.
You're saying that they shouldn't get nothing.
Nothing.
But your segment is pay the man.
Okay.
So that's
it's a question.
It is a question. So I'm going to say your segment.
Yeah.
Pay the man. If you get it, come on, man. Listen, like I said, I'll close with this.
My thing is education should be the foremost in their mind.
And
Not now what happens down the road, if they're good enough, if
Right.
they're in that 1%,
Right.
they're going to get paid
Yes.
swell.
yes.
More than the regular student who's not getting anything.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to get paid more than enough money.
Right.
So why not wait? You know, you can do 1 year in college football and go to the draft.
Okay.
You can go right from high school in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some countries they're teenagers and they're already professional athletes. So, you know.
But that's the reason why I say pay all the students, because that'll give the non-athlete students incentive to go to school and get an education. And
if you're getting paid.
I mean,
they're
you know,
getting paid because they're paying tuition, they're paying this, they're paying that. Give them a little piece of the pie.
It should be based on them getting an education.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
have not.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
the one
Should be.
thing we haven't talked about.
Well,
is
they're
that-
there for the education, but you had Kyrie
Are
played
they
11
really?
games for Duke. Or he played 11 games for Duke and went right to the NBA.
And is he
I mean,
struggling now?
if you have that kind of talent, that's great. But that's 1 out of 99.
yeah, everyone don't have
You
that.
feel me? That's one. And so all I'm saying is that they all should get paid because listen, if I would lose 70-0, if I can get Ohio State on my schedule, that's $1 million to FAMU. That's $1 million. And that's a fact, okay? That's $1 million. And the point I'm making is, man, think about it. I slotted a couple $1,000 on my players, $10,000. I'm still doing well. And I'm just saying they should get paid.
So,
they should.
so you're saying that
They should. That's why they call it the program. They program your butt to think just like that.
That every student gets $500 to $1,000 every game.
I say a
So
car,
they played
pay out their
12
mama house.
games.
That's enough money to pay the big
They
schools.
played 12 games. So a college athlete is getting $12,000 over the course of 10 or 12
And
years.
that's a bench guy who doesn't play. A starter gets more.
Right.
If you get $8 million
So-
for the Rose Bowl, and Ohio State goes to the Rose Bowl and they get $8 million, and all I'm trying to say to you guys is there's a big, to me, it's pay to play. They're selling everything and the kids get nothing, just education. Shoot, they might as well just quit and just go to school. What's the difference?
Yeah.
What's the difference? If you ain't getting paid, what's the difference? So that's why I stand on it. Pay the man. I agree with that. I want to go to another issue. We'll come back to that.
Okay.
Are you? No, I'm sorry.
No, I said okay.
Okay,
let's
come back
do-
to that.
Let's go to the next.
I want to go
issue.
to. I want to talk about something that is happened today in Canada. And you know what's happened here in the United States? But marijuana is now legal. And as soon as they had that, they made that. Remember, the whole country of Canada, right, which is actually a lot larger than the United States land-wise, just so we know, right? But legalized marijuana within an hour, they arrested somebody for smoking marijuana. So So my point I'm making is they're expecting it to make $4.3 billion in revenue for the country of Canada. Do you think that, and Canada is one of the few countries that has done it. Most cities have done it. What do you think about an entire country legalizing marijuana? That's my question to you guys, my issue. What do you think of that? An entire country.
Well, you know, I'm against it. I think marijuana is a gateway drug. It's going to lead to other things.
Yeah, Pastor, can we put up something? I would like to see that about Canada. Huh? Go ahead. Okay.
And
Marijuana is a gateway drug.
Yeah, and they'll lead to other things that are harder. You know, I think it has some benefits as far as medical marijuana.
Okay.
And people who have ailments, serious ailments, real ailments, not made up ailments.
Oh, yeah.
But I think, especially if you're talking, it's legal, and so who can use it?
Listen, the entire country legalized it. I mean, in terms of, I'm
So-
just saying the whole country. I'm not saying, I think it's legalized
So
here in the United States.
is
18
there age
states.
restrictions?
Oh, I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. They're not going to be selling to kids, but I mean, I'm just saying
So,
the entire country did it, and that's
So-
Justin Trudeau is the Prime Minister of Canada, and he went on as like it would be a Trump thing, you know, going on. He's our president.
So
and-
why are there
and announced it.
restrictions?
I'm sure there's restrictions, but I mean,
But I'm saying why?
well,
I mean, is it a certain age?
It's
when,
I'm sure it's got to be 18 or 21.
okay, so at 18 or 21, does our body change to the point where it doesn't affect us the same way?
I don't know. I'm just saying that in terms of that, yeah, there it is. Canada makes recreational marijuana legal right there on MSNBC. See there, Duran? That's it. And I said, that's an entire country. That's my big thing about it. We only have marijuana legal in 18 states. You know, see, now look at this. Now you can remember. So it's amazing to me that, what the take is on it. So regardless of what we think about it, an entire country did it. Thank you, Pastor. The entire country did that, and I'm just asking you guys what you think of it.
I think it should, like Michael just said, I think it just should be for medical purposes because
It said recreational.
here
there.
you're gonna run into situations where
So hold on,
it's
hold on.
illegal.
Okay, if it's
right?
recreational, you can go buy weed from the store.
Right.
You don't need no. Bottom line is, would it be safe to say, Duran? Right back to you. Would it be safe to say that Canada, that they're selling the drug dealers, they're selling weed now? The country's selling weed because it's recreational. Who do you think's controlling it? If the country legalizes, they're selling it. That's all you can say.
So back to the money. Who's getting paid?
That's right. Then you're gonna change the tax brackets and everything.
It's going to make it more money.
Well, yeah, but then
Who's getting paid?
right. But then the children. Think about the children. You coming home from homework and you smelling what's the name of they're smoking weed or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
It's legal.
It's legal. So you can, they can. But what you think? You don't think that's going to affect the children?
Listen, Duran, that's why I brought it up to both of you guys, because it doesn't matter what I think, they just did it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to look for it on either side, D.
Right.
Mike, I'm not trying, I'm just saying
Well,
they
no,
did
it
it. Well, I'll
matters,
approve
though.
them.
I
So
mean-
that's all I'm saying. What do you think of it? That's all I'm thinking.
I think it matters, but I think that, like the congressman said, because that whole country legalized it, now that's going to open the door because the first thing we think about is, oh, now we're going to lose money. It's all
a great
about
point.
money.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So if
Yeah.
you're funny to follow the money trail,
Don't make dollars,
who's
don't
gonna
make
get
sense.
paid?
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Somebody is controlling that industry.
No doubt, man.
And it
If
ain't
it's
gonna be us.
listen, recreational, dude. That's what we're talking about here. We're not talking medical. This is recreational. So that means you can just go in the corners. Let me get fill up my tank and let me get a dime of weed. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's recreational,
Right.
dude. That's like the state store.
Yeah.
You know, that's
And that dime gonna cost you probably $12.50 when you add tax.
right. But doesn't it? Would you ever? It's almost to me, and that's why I brought it to you guys. It's almost to me, almost like having a black president. I thought that I would never see the day when we had a black president. Thank God for some small favors and all favors. But I also thought I would never see the day where an entire country legalized weed. That's all I can say about that.
Well, what do you mean? It's
An entire country?
It's
We only
been
got
that
18
way.
states that legalized it here.
But no, it's.
Can I ask you guys
what about
both of you a
Amsterdam?
question?
Amsterdam is not as big as Canada.
But isn't it a country or is it just a
It's
city?
part of the Netherlands.
Okay.
So it's like whatever. But point I'm making is, dude,
It's like a tourist place.
bottom line is, we know Amsterdam. Okay, this happened today, and there's an entire country. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
I never thought I'd see it.
I guess what would be interesting to see is if some of the other statistics go up or go down.
I know the profit's going up. They say 4.3 billion. So I know that's what's going on. That's all they watching, kid. That's all they watching.
Little side question. Yeah, crime.
Is that going to affect?
Hey, man.
Is education?
Smoking
gonna be
weed does not
affected?
make you commit crime, man. Smoking weed make you chill, make you hungry, want to watch TV and laugh. I'm just saying.
Until it opens it up.
Hold it. Team, I got to stop. Time out. These two guys were just in Canada last week. Both of them in Niagara Falls. I got issues. I'm
I
saying right
was
on the air,
not
216
smoking weed.
1554. Maybe I was looking for franchise. Y'all, you guys are both in. Am I kidding?
No, you weren't.
Happy belated birthday to Mike, by the way.
Thank you, thank you.
You don't look a day over the however old you are. But you guys are both in Canada.
do,
That's
though.
why I of course, man. You get wiser every day. When I'm on short paying, I'll give it to you. But you guys are both there, so it's just, I thought I would bring that up because of that happened today.
Well, you know, it's funny that we were both there. We didn't know we were going to be there.
Yeah, I got issues with that. I told him I was
And
going to clown him on the
we
show.
both stayed at a Marriott.
Yes.
On the American side.
Wow.
And how
And that's why I bought this
in
up.
Niagara Falls
As I
as well,
segue
you know.
to that team, that's why I
Right.
bought this up.
And as I'm walking around Canada, you know, I went.
Did you
for-
smell weed when you was up there? From the
Man,
Canada side?
I was walking around the tourist area of Canada, of Niagara Falls,
Right.
and
You're on the Canadian side, right?
I was on the Canadian side,
Right.
and a guy fired one up right next to me.
What? Rest my case.
Loud.
Rest my
I
case.
mean, it was stinking up the whole area.
Oh, and no police. No police,
None.
people.
Yeah.
Cops
This
like,
was last
you need light, you
weekend.
need light, you need light. You don't get no DUIs.
So what's
and no
more
fights.
dangerous, weed or alcohol? To a certain extent.
Canada, listen, weed don't come with no warning. You know, hey, cigarettes and liquor says, hey, don't drive, operate machinery, don't do this and that. I'm just saying, but so I proved my point again that you're in Niagara Falls, weed is legal in the country. That dude was just celebrating when you smelled that weed up there. Just he was just celebrating, right? Did you feel offended?
No, not offended. I mean,
I mean, of course you weren't. I mean, you're a good
I didn't feel offended, but I was
Surprised?
Surprised.
Yeah,
The first time you ran into them, right?
right, yeah. So that-
And so marijuana is legal, but you can't smoke in the
and the restaurants and all that.
in the outdoor stadium.
What is that about?
Cigarettes.
Cigarettes, yeah. Have them all huddled together like
Right.
a little. When we at the Browns
So
game.
now when we go to the Browns game, when everybody go out take a smoke break, they can fire up a J.
Right. yeah.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. Exactly. Like, exactly. That's true, man. That's so true. But listen, I wonder if we were in Canada and we go see a game. You know, whether they got the
The
Canadian
Raptors
football.
or
No, the football. But they got the Canadian CFL.
The Argonauts.
And their smoking section, can you smoke? Probably. I don't know. But the whole country legalized it. So I wanted to bring that to you guys because you guys are both in Niagara Falls and Canada legalized it. So that's why that was my whole tie-in.
And let's not get it twisted. The only reason they're legalizing it, and the only reason this country will
said
start
it, follow the
legalizing
money.
it, is because it's an opportunity to make money.
Say it again, Mike. Say it again.
It's an opportunity to make
If it
money.
don't make dollars, it don't make sense. And I'm telling you right now, man, it's the truth. We got issues, but what do we think about that? The whole country, Canada was like, forget the world. We legalizing weed.
Right.
Forget the world. This Canada.
And I think a
Just
lot
saying,
of
that's-
people
that's
are going to
boss,
be
that's
out of
boss,
business
baby.
because of this now.
Say that again.
All the people that are selling illegally are going to be out of business.
Hey, man. hey, but listen, now you're going to worry about
So we're adding to the homelessness.
but they have more money. That $4.3 billion will help attack those problems. So there we go. They already got
Right.
that in.
Okay, just like the lottery.
Oh, that's good, man. Hey, touche on that.
No
Touche.
pops from the barbershop out of business.
right. That's a.
So let's talk a little bit about. I mean, are we through with?
No, I'm done with that. I just
legal
want to bring that up.
marijuana?
Yeah, Niagara Falls, man.
So can we talk a little bit about this? Is something that having roommates as
Oh, yeah.
adults.
Yes. Let's get back to that.
Obviously, when you're in college, you got a roommate. And I remember when I was in college, I had a roommate. We were both at the time getting stamps. We were eating good, studying good. all
Oh, hey,
that,
getting stamps at the college of what?
Right.
And on the meal plan?
Right.
Woo, you're rich.
And then all of a sudden we get out of college and hopefully get a job, and now all of a sudden we're forced to live on our own and pay all the bills and struggle. Because, when you get out of college, you're not getting that top of the line job most of the time. You're getting an entry level job which isn't paying you a lot. But why is it that once you turn 21 in our
culture,
it's time to get out of mama and daddy's house?
Sometimes it's even 18.
Right. And women will stay a little longer, but the guys are expected to get out.
Make a move. Make a move.
Yeah.
And usually you hear that while you're 12. It's just already ingrained. So
Right,
you already made
right.
that decision. It
Look
typically
here,
happens, but
18,
you're right.
you getting out the
You're
house.
out the house, yeah,
Right.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I want to ask you this, and I want to mention this. And I want to mention this. We've all seen the movie Friday.
Right. Right.
And Ice Cube lost his job on his day off.
Right.
But you're still living there. And you got Chris Tucker living right next door.
Right.
So I'm just saying that, you know, but it's interesting with the whole dynamic of it because, Mike, you're absolutely right. You see these shows like I said, 8 is Enough, or these people, they never move out.
Right.
These white kids, they never.
And
they
just
never
think
move
of it
out.
like this. Let's say that all three of us moved in together, right? And we're all paying
$1,200 a month.
we're all paying
$1,300.
$600 each
Okay.
for a nice place, right?
Yes.
That's an $1,800 place. What kind of place could we get for $1,800?
Here in Ohio, in Cleveland, you
could
could put a pretty nice place for $1,800.
You could get a nice, spot.
with 4-5 bedrooms.
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
You could definitely get out the hood.
Yes. So what would you? So where are you going with this? Would that be frowned upon? You think of that?
It would definitely be.
Okay.
Don't you think? Or I don't know. Maybe
I don't.
I think that it's.
I think that
upon
when they're at the cookout, they're like, "Damn, y'all got a nice spot. I want to leave my
Are you
wife."
saying ethnic-wise?
I don't know.
I think it's prevalent in the African American community.
I
that
think it is too.
You're expected to be out of the house
I
by
think
a
it is
certain
too.
age.
Yeah.
And I think that other nationalities, Hispanics, Asian,
Hey, man.
Jewish,
I got 4 words for you.
they don't have a problem.
I got
with
4
that.
words for you. I got 4
All right.
words for you. All in the family. I got 4 words for you. All in the family. Meathead and Sally Struthers lived there the whole
Oh,
show.
man.
You feel me? And he was working. He wasn't working. Come on, you called him Meathead for God's sakes.
Oh, he was working too.
I mean, he was working on his man.
Both of them were.
But they were still living there
Yeah,
too,
and
and it
they
wasn't a
were
big
still
deal. It
living there.
wasn't a big
That's right.
deal. Their focus was on
Right.
Archie.
And that was my
You know,
favorite show.
but so there's a
but
plethora of
how
instances
quick
like
did
that.
Lionel get out the house?
Quick, Lionel gone. Lionel never lived in the Jeffersons, man. Lionel never lived. He just came and went. Kid, then he married
Right.
Jenny. And they was out.
Well,
they was
Yeah. Shoot, so that proves your point even further.
left the house either.
Right.
JJ never left.
Right.
Oh yeah, they never left. So yeah, good times with that good. And hold it, but no privacy in that spot.
Right.
No privacy in that spot.
Do you think it's because of the family structure?
Yeah, what's your take? That's a great point, Mike.
Structures of the home, or
I really don't know. I had I have conversations, and a lot of times, if 2 guys that are adults living together, sometimes they'll think
That they're gay or something.
they're gay, or then something negative. When we just stacking chips,
Stacking chips, baby, make it
stacking
move.
chips to make it better,
move.
so we can make a move
Like,
eventually.
hey, at the end of the day, it's strength in numbers, and like you said before, Mike, I'll tell you right now. Think about it, man. If you get let's go to $800 a month. So you pay $800, I pay $800, you pay. We got a spot for $2,600 a month. What kind of spot would that be?
I know your math's a little off, but it's 24.
24. Sorry, I was thinking about water and sewer. No, so my point I made, what kind of spot could you get for that?
2,400
a month.
Mansion,
Yeah.
baby mansion.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. A nice crib.
Yeah, where you can actually work from home.
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
you could probably
Those
get some
things
beachfront property, or
Yeah. So you're right about that, though. It is prevalent. But take it a step further, Mike. What about that show, Girlfriends? They live together.
Or Living Single.
Has there ever been a show with brothers doing that? Can you think of a sitcom with brothers? That's why maybe it was frowned upon more with brothers.
Living single.
The Living Single, Colin,
Overton.
Overton, okay.
Lived together.
Sanford and Son?
Sanford, that was he never moved out. He was that.
Right.
Come on now.
But
and he called him Big Dummy.
Yeah.
Come on.
But think about it now. On Living Single, Kyle and Overton lived together. They were in New York, where rent is ridiculous to begin with.
Yeah.
So it almost forces you to think, oh, they just living in New York. That's why they're living together.
Right.
It's not that they're living in Cleveland, where the cost of living is low.
Yeah.
And you just got 2 people living together, stacking chips.
Right.
You get 2 families where 4 people have a decent income, and you're putting all that into a pool.
Yeah.
I mean, think of the
Man,
things
think of
that
things
could be
you
done.
You can. That's what they do. It's almost analysis.
Economically,
Yeah.
speaking.
It's almost
you know?
imagine. So they live. Some of these are whether it's Indian people or Iranian people, or they live 12 deep in a house, dude.
Right.
And then one at a time they get a house. One at a time they get a house, and they just continually. And that one house is like a little sanctuary or a starter place for everybody to go from there.
Right.
So Mike, well, let me ask you. Let's dig a little deeper. Where do you think that mentality came from in our community, Duran, Mike?
I think it comes from when ethnically now, a lot of us are taught when you are old enough, you need to be a man or you need to be a woman and go on and get your own. Instead of being smart, we're taught to just bear that burden on our own. Where other ethnic groups, they
Stick together.
They're taught to be smart
And work
When
together.
and to survive out here, the way you can. But we're taught like, hey, it's a different way.
Yeah.
So it's been
apples and oranges. The
You
way
think
we're
it was
brought up.
ingrained in our families,
Yes.
man? Before,
Well,
like our fathers and grandfathers.
And not only that, I think it's financial literacy problem as well. I
Okay,
think
that makes sense.
That in our community, we lack the financial literacy to make those types of decisions. Whereas in other nationalities, they're thinking about that dollar first,
Right.
and they
They're
ingrain it
totally
in
smart.
their kids, and they teach their kids how to make that dollar work for them instead of you working for that.
It goes back to the old mantra where, JOB stands for just over broke, and we're taught to get a job, and then we're taught to own the business.
Yeah.
So, but I guess what I'm saying is that, listening to what you said that, I don't see anything wrong with having a $1,800 month and having a big mansion, me and two of my boys. I just don't see nothing wrong with that. That sounds like a frat house in the making at an older age. I don't know what else to say, but it is frowned upon because I can't tell you how many people I've met that they was out the house at 18. Some of them was getting kicked out at 15, 16 on their way out.
Right.
And wow, man, and they're not doing that great.
But everybody wants to live under that same family structure. Like, hey, you're a certain age, you get married, you have a wife, you stay together for that. They don't think if maybe you're not ready for that right now. You can have that that partner help you pay. That'll put you on your feet.
That's true, man.
good.
Yeah.
I mean, just think of your
That's a good point.
think of
That's
the
a
bank
very good
accounts
point.
that could be built up. Think of the credit cards that could be paid off. You're paying off your student loans. So
Yeah, why struggle when you don't have to?
Yeah, when you
They just come together.
things, as Arsenio said, things that make you go,
Yeah, that's true, man. That's a really good point. Here, I want to just share this with you guys. You guys have all seen the movie Men in Black, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so when they go and get the thing of Zarthia, and that guy, he got the glasses on, and he's with the girl, she wants to go to Cambodia, the light of Zarthia. I don't know if you guys remember this. But Will Smith, when he flashed him, he was like, look, you 40 years old, get out your mama's house
Right.
and take that girl and pay more than $1 for a lobster, okay?
Right.
The point I'm making is he was 40 years old.
Right.
And now, still, we at this point in our strong black man psyche, we can't even imagine living in our mom's house for 40 years. Can we? We don't have to. It's
No.
realistic. It's realistic that we didn't.
Right.
And if we did, it was to help. It wasn't to
Right.
just lounge.
Right.
You're an asset, not a
Right.
liability.
Right.
But it's still, you're right, Mike. That's a really good point, man. That's a really good point. Let's move on from that. We got to come back to that.
Yeah.
We got to come back to that.
We'll explore that a little further on another show.
But I want to see another show, man. You got me thinking with girlfriends and living single. Even though the brothers is upstairs, I would like to see four
guys.
Four guys. Talk to Shonda Rhimes, man. Take four guys and take them,
Last time I saw that, it was a frat house.
Frat house, yeah. Four brothers was like that, but they
Right.
weren't living in the same spot.
Right.
But they was anyway. But that's a good take on that, man. John Boy was 37. He was still living out.
So today is Thursday, y'all.
Yes, it is.
What happened Tuesday? The NBA started.
Oh, the NBA.
It's time to get it on.
And
So what do you think? So NBA. What's your predictions? Who's gonna win it all? I
you started top five. You gave us a lot earlier in the show.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
let me just throw this out.
Okay.
Who's your top five? Your starting five all time
For who?
for the
Cavaliers?
NBA? For the
Oh,
NBA,
NBA.
all-time pick.
all time, top
Wow.
five players.
All right. You want to go first?
I'll go first.
Go ahead.
I'll tell you right off. I'm gonna take Bill Russell over any center just because of his defense, and I don't need a center scoring like Chamberlain scoring 100 points there.
Okay.
And give me a power forward. Give me that's a hard one. That's a hard one. But I'm gonna go with my man Charles Barkley just because he could score at will.
Okay.
I got the defensive center already.
Okay.
At small forward, of course, give me LeBron.
Okay.
That's who I've seen in my lifetime.
Right.
Best player I've seen.
Okay, you got two guards.
Okay.
And in my guard, of course, Michael Jordan at off guard. And my point guard would be Isaiah Thomas.
Wow.
Okay, Isaiah Thomas.
My
Okay.
team's gonna dog his team.
Okay. All right, Mike. So Mike says that. So go ahead. Should I go? You go.
Okay, my center, I'm going with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yes. Yes. Ahead of his time in all facets, people. Ahead of his time in all
My
facets.
forwards are LeBron James
Okay.
and my other forward.
Power forward. Who's got a power forward?
My other power forward is gonna be. I'm gonna be unconventional, and I'm gonna put a modern day player, Kevin Durant, at
Okay.
power.
Oh man, that's a
And
good move.
then my guards are Magic at point and Michael at the 2.
Okay, so now you got me. I'm going to say that's an excellent choice. And Durant, I hate to say that because I'm going to agree with that. But I will have my center changes, and I'm just going to say this because this particular, everybody you just said, I'm with, except for one player. And Kareem, that's all I can say about that. But from a guy who dominated 3 straight great centers of this generation, this particular center that I chose over Kareem, and I agree with your other 4. This center beat Ewing, Parrish, Mikhail, I have to go with Elijah
gotta go
Wan.
with the
Only
Green.
because if you watch Elijah Wan play,
He's my backup.
Elijah Wan was so. And listen, I want to. My first power forward coming off the bench is Tim Duncan. I struggled with him just off letters and just off that. So
Big fundamental.
my big fundamental. So
who's your starting 5?
my starting 5 would be Jordan. Really the same thing that say I got Jordan, LeBron, Elijah Wan, Magic, and I would even think about interchanging
Duncan.
and Duncan, yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe I'm gonna tell you right now, if you really want to say it too,
Who do you
man.
think was a better defensive
Carl Malone was an animal kid. Carl Malone was a power forward, and him and Elgin Baylor were like if you chiseled a power forward, what they supposed to look like.
Yeah.
That was Carl Malone. So it's a lot of great players.
A lot of great players.
Yeah, it really,
it's hard to
it
narrow
really
it
is.
down
It's
to
6 in
5.
one end, half dozen in the other.
It's hard to narrow it down.
That's
to
a
5.
great
Who
time.
was a better defensive center? Bill Russell or Akeem Olajuwon?
I would say Akeem because he played against better
Akeem.
competition. They only had 8 teams in the league.
I would say Akeem too, but I would say Kareem was a better defender than all of them because you can defend his shot.
That sky hook was ridiculous.
It was
He didn't play
automatic.
both ends of the floor. That's why.
He
He didn't have to. But I agree.
have
But
to.
listen. Bill
Russell run that floor
Bill
like
Russell is the greatest NBA. He's
And
the
he was a winner.
He's really the Jackie Robinson of. If you listen to his story, man, Bill
They
Russell.
had a stacked team. Knock
Bill
it
Russell,
off.
yeah. But, okay, let's flip it before we get out of here. Okay, we did that. We know what this NBA season open. Give me your top 5 Cavs of all time.
Oh, top 5 Cavs. Austin Carr.
You guys forgot Dr. J.
No,
I
Dr. J's my
did.
favorite player of all
Most
time.
spectacular player.
No,
ever
Dr.
seen,
J
but
saved
not-
the NBA. When they merged, have you guys been watching the
didn't forget the
basketball
Doc.
love story? The Doc's my favorite player of all time. That's
But
mine
he
of all
played
time.
small forward, and I think
No,
LeBron
Dr.
was
J,
better.
he revolutionized.
I
Dr.
would
J's
take
my-
Bird over Dr. J. That's small
I would take
forward.
Dr. J over it. Listen, anyway, but you're right.
Okay.
We never forgot about him, Pastor. But you're right on point, bro.
So top 5
Top
Cavs.
5 Cavs. That's when I thought you were saying
Okay.
that because we
Well,
can sort of narrow
no,
that down.
I like to keep it national. you know.
Right,
But,
right. Yeah. International. There's
But if we
international
say
buzz here,
if we
right?
say just Cavs,
Yeah.
so
So you got LeBron.
LeBron.
I say
definitely.
LeBron, Ron Harper, Brad Daugherty, and I got Ron Harper, Brad Daugherty, Mark Price. I like those 3. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Mark Price.
You're throwing Brad Daugherty, Mark Price, and those and LeBron. And,
Okay,
and Nance.
So who are your other 2? Larry Nance and who's the 5th one?
Okay, here's my starting 5. I got Daugherty out of all. I got Daugherty starting at center. I got LeBron at small forward, right?
Right.
I have Mark Price at guard. I got Ron Harper at the other guard, and I struggle with that because I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm looking at Kyrie, Terrell, Brandon. They've had some great guards at the Cavs over the
They're
years.
not. He's short-lived.
Okay, so yeah, he's sure. Okay,
Who,
but he's-
Kyrie?
Yeah, he still won a championship for us.
Whatever.
So that's my starting 5.
He ain't winning by himself.
Who are yours?
Mine is like you
still
said.
think the
mine
earth
would
is
be
flat.
Get him off, Kyrie. Go ahead.
Doherty, Nance,
Uh-huh.
at power forward. LeBron at small forward. Give me Mark Price, of course, at point guard. Off guard.
Yeah,
I said
Who
Harper.
take it off guard?
Harper was nasty, kid.
tripping.
He led the league in steals.
Let me
291
go
steals.
ahead.
I think.
Let me go ahead.
291 steals.
Let me go ahead and give it to y'all so
Okay,
y'all
we got 2
know.
minutes left. Go ahead, yeah.
So center, I'm gonna agree with you, Doherty.
Okay.
My forwards are LeBron and Bobby Bingo Smith.
Oh, Bingo. Okay. Okay.
Matter
that
of
was his
fact,
name, oh.
and then I'm going to have Harper, and then I'm going to have Mr. Cavalier himself,
Austin Carr.
Carr's a good guy, right?
Hey man, hey listen, when I was a counselor at the Cavs,
He can't outshoot
he
Mark
lit us up.
Rice though, but he was a good guy.
What?
Austin
Yeah.
Carr.
We
What?
did Cavs.
He
I hope
scored 50 in college. He scored like 70 something. He could hoop.
So we got our top five. The NBA season is starting. We're about to get out of here. Let me ask you this, guys. The Cavs lost last night, 116-104 to Canada. And, you know, listen, it was rigged in a way, guys, because think about it. We swept them last year. We couldn't come back after losing LeBron and then beat them again after they legalized weed. So they did have to beat us last night, I'm just saying.
And they beat us in regular season.
Regular season.
But when the money's on the table, who wins?
Hey, they got to cut their head.
I want to say one thing about the
Yes,
Browns.
sir. Go ahead. Oh, the Browns. We purposely left them off.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
but
This is our
very
Browns
quickly,
reporter. 1 minute.
Our defensive coordinator he did not make adjustments. They took away our strength, which is rushing the passer, and they used sweeps. They used these end-arounds, reverses, and ran the ball.
You said that. I talked to
And we
Durant.
couldn't.
I talked to Durant before we get out of here. I talked to Durant.
He
and
didn't
Durant-
make adjustments. Sometimes that happens, but I want to see what he's going to do.
But you
against
told me,
Tampa
that's a
Bay.
great remark. You told me that the defensive coordinator,
Well, let's
defensive coordinator outcoached the offensive coordinator. And that's why they lost.
and then let's wrap it up with prayer. And I want to just say this: our defensive coordinator has a grudge against Phillip Rivers, and he lost it playing against Phillip Rivers. Lord, we just thank you for today. We thank you for a day we've never seen and a day we'll never see again. We ask you to just continue to watch over us and to guide us as we go on this journey. We thank you and will always be ever so careful to lift your name and praise. Amen.
Amen. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. See you next week.